Today I'm going to show you how we made our do-it-yourself wall easel build. Super cheap, super simple. This is the tilting model. I'm going to show you both the base model and the tilting model all in this video. And then I'm going to show you all the materials, all the tools you need, all the cuts you need to make, all the holes you need to drill, and then we're going to assemble it. So if you bought a kit, which if you get a kit from us, it'll also give you everything you need, and you'll only need a Phillips head screwdriver to assemble it. And that's both the base model and the tilting model. I would also like to have a disclaimer. I'm not a professional woodworker or construction contractor, whatever you call it. I'm a regular dude who built an easel for himself, and I'm showing you how I did it. So, you know, this is the best I do. If you're doing this completely yourself, the tools you need are a drill, some drill bits. Specifically, at least you need 1/4 inch and 1/8 for our pilot holes and these holes here. Something to cut your wood with. The base model is only 2 cuts and the tilting model is only 4 cuts. So something like this is just fine. I'm going to be using my chop saw so I can get a nice clean smooth cut quickly. Tape measure to measure. A square if you want it, not completely necessary. A pencil to make marks with. And Phillips head if you want it, but you can also use your drill for assembly carefully. All right, eye coverage for everyone out there, safety. Okay, that's the tools you'll need. Now on to the materials. For the base model build, we're gonna need 6 1x2 by 6 foot. This is white birch, I believe. I got all of this at Lowe's. One stop shop, all at Lowe's. This I think is poplar, but we'll get into that in a second. For the base model, 6 1x2 by 6 foot. These are wall anchors. This is gonna help you attach it to the wall. Drywall anchors if you're putting it in drywall. Get concrete anchors if you're putting it in block, but that's a whole nother story. Screws, wood screws. This is for attaching your rails. On my original one, I used drywall screws, black beauties. Whatever screws you want to use will probably work just fine as long as there's a coarse thread and good for wood. So you'll need 8 of those. I just got a box because I'm building a few of these, putting some kits together for everyone. 4 carriage bolts. These will comprise your This is what makes your pinch mechanism here for the slides. So you need a carriage bolt, 4 of them. 1 big washer. These are called fender washers. Those go on the back side. Then a little bit smaller washers if you want to use them. I got these ringed or washered Wingnuts. So 4 of each of thing. 4 big washers, 4 front washers if you want them, 4 Wingnuts, 4 3.5 inch carriage bolts. And hey, I'm gonna put all this in the description, the whole list for each model. So if I don't say everything in the video, look there for the materials. So that's for the base model. That's everything you need. That's for the base model. If you're building the tilting model, which you see here, imagine this without the top rail and without those 2 little legs. And that's the base model. So to turn it into the tilting model, all you need to add is 1 more 1x2 by 6. So that makes 7. And then 1 of these, this is 3/4 square. This is 36 inches, I believe, and I believe it's poplar. We're just gonna cut that in half, and that's gonna make those legs right there that prop it up against the wall. Oh, I forgot to mention, and I don't have them out here. These will come in the kit as well. These little rubber feet help go against the wall, protect it from sliding and scratching your wall up. Okay, also, you'll need, in addition to that, 2 hinges. These are just regular small hinges, narrow hinges they call them. Whatever you think we'll use, you're basically making this here. So whatever you think will work there. This is another key component. This is called a hanger bolt. Let me pull it out so you can see what it looks like. One end screws into the wood and the other end a wing nut. And that's what's gonna make those feet go on there. Okay. I think we're ready to begin. Don't forget your hydration. It's hot down here in Florida. So now let's make our cuts first. It's only 2 cuts for the base model. So, and all we're gonna do, they're real simple. We're gonna cut 2 of our 6 1x2 by 6s directly in half. And that's gonna make our top brace, our bottom brace, and these 2 slider pieces. I gotta name this stuff. But in your kit and this build, let's call them A, B, C, D, whatever. So 2 cuts. Let's start with those. I'm gonna measure. First, let's see if it's a true 6 foot. Yeah, 6 foot. So we're gonna go exactly 36 inches. Okay, and I'm just gonna cut 2 at a time back here. All right, also, I forgot to mention sandpaper. So you can get rid of all your little boogers and stuff. You'll want to give this a light sand at least to get rid of any splinters or whatever. When you get your kit, it'll be lightly sanded, but I'm not going crazy. I'm not staining it or painting it. You're getting the raw wood, so you can paint it, customize it however you want it. Okay, so sandpaper to knock your burrs off after you make your cuts and drill your holes and stuff. Now, just like that, we have made all the cuts we need already to build our thing, our easel. Just mocking it up. I don't quite have big enough tables here. Okay. Stuff rolling everywhere. All right, those are our rails. Those are our 2 pieces, our 2 top and bottoms, and then these are going to be our slider pieces. You can sort of see it coming together already. So we want to put our rails on first. We're going to take a measurement from center, I think is the best way to do this. So 36, half of 36 would be, quick maths, 18.5. Is that right? No, 18. Quick math. 18. So we're going to measure to 18. Get a center line. And we're going to do both our top and bottom at the same time. This will help with making our lines. There's our center line. Okay. Then I want to go 13. There's a 13-inch span on center. That means where the screws are, that's 13 inches. So that's a measurement we're going to make. So 6.5 each way. But I'll just measure to 6.5 here. 1 mark there, and 1 mark at 13. That should give us 6.5 that way, 6.5 that way. And then I'll make my lines here. And again, this is doesn't have to be as precise as I'm doing it. Makes it a lot easier, I think. 1 7/8. Let's make it 2 inches and see where that puts us. So that's 13 on center. That's where the screws go. We're going to make it an even 2 inches. To the next one. Even 2 inches to the next one. Take our lines. Now before I drill my holes, I'm going to take these 2 pieces just to make sure everything is going to line up hunky-dory, right? So if that's I'm going to try to put that on center where the screw will be, and that on center where the screw will be. To me that looks good, right? Can you see there? That looks on center. That should give us plenty of space. Then we got the big washers on the back to hold it in place, squeeze it tight. Nice! Okay. So now we got, what is that? 1.5 inches. Look right here. So 1.5 inches was going to put us halfway is 3/4 abouts, right? And that's where we're going to put our screw marks. And like I said, you don't have to be this precise, but I feel like in the video I kind of have to be. And when you get your kit, it's going to be precise. I'm building a kit right now in this video. So I want it to be nice and precise. Okay. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 holes you'll need to drill. We're going to use our 1/8 drill bit. You could go a little bit bigger depending on how hard to screw it in and how tight you want it to be. These screws are pretty fat. but the wood's pretty soft and I don't want it wallered out too much. So I'm gonna go with 1/8. You can always make the hole bigger if you want to. And this is how your kit will come. The holes will all be pre-drilled. Now you want to drill straight as possible. You don't want to try to angle it or anything. Obviously there's some human error, but try to drill as straight as possible. Drill right on our center mark. Alright, so when we lay these out, I'm going to draw some lines for where our rails are going to go, just so we don't have to guess. They're exactly 1.5 inches. So we're going to make 3/4, or do the same thing we did, go to 3/4, 3/4 this side, 3/4 this side, which will be 1.5 inches. And do the same thing on this hole, 3/4 there, 1.5 inches there. So that'll give us our where we're going to lay our rails. Can do both at the same time again. And when you get your kit, I'll have these lines drawn on there too, just to make it easier to line up and make sure it lines up. Alright, so I'm going to do one side at a time, and I'm going to make sure these are flush because that's just how I want it and that's how the kit's going to be. See, we got our space in here pretty good. Got it lined, make sure we got it lined up right. Okay. Now, I'm not going to drill all the way through because I don't want to go through my table, but I'm just going to make just through here and make a mark on my cross thing. I mean, if you don't care about your table, just go all the way through. Repeat on the other 4. If you didn't want to do it this way, you could just measure down 3/4 and across 3/4. Would make it simpler. Just draw across there, 3/4, 3/4. That probably would have been more precise, but hey, maybe I'll do that on that side. Drilling all the way through now. Got my holes marked. So yeah, I think that's the way to go, right? Let's try doing a measure. Let me get my pencil out of the mud. Alright, dude, this is probably how a professional would do it. So we're gonna do, look, I'm even gonna, okay, got a little cross there, right? 3/4, 3/4. Alright, if you're a professional, do it that way. If you're me, do it that way. Fixing to go crazy on them right here. If I was real smart, I'd have done all 4 of them at once. Man, hey, we're learning together today, ain't we, big dog? There's my 3/4 that way. There's my 3/4 that way. Okay, alright. I don't know what was faster. If I'd have done 4 across, probably that one. Here we go, drilling the holes. Okay, so I'm just mocking it up, putting it together, making sure everything lines up good. So because I'm using these wood screws with the big old fat head, I'm going to countersink this hole so it goes in a little deeper, a little nicer, gives a little more bite, goes in flush. So I'm going to take this bigger drill bit. I should have an actual countersink drill bit, but I don't, so I'm using what I got. Alright, just countersink it a little bit so the screw goes in nice there. I'm going to sand all that. So now all we need to do is drill our holes for our carriage bolts to make our thingamajeebers. So our gap is exactly 15 inches. So we're going to go 15 inches across from the center of this, which we already know is 18, right? 18 is the center. Okay, so then we're going 15, so that would be 7.5 one way, 7.5 the other, so we're gonna go 7.5 there. Now we're gonna line them up. Alright, this is the scariest drilling of the entire project because you want to drill as straight as possible. If you have a drill press that's precise, that's probably the best way. I'm going to do it by hand, but I'm going to use the smaller bit first to make sure I got a good straight pilot hole, or as straight as possible. And then I'm going to come back with our 1/4 inch drill bit, which is the size we actually need for the carriage bolts and stuff. So wish me luck. It could ruin it right here. Try to get as center as possible. Take your time. I'm talking to myself now. Try to make sure it's going down as straight as you can. And I think that's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. If you want to be perfect, get one of those drills with the level bubble on the back, or drill press. The smaller holes, you can adjust it a little bit. If it wasn't as straight as you liked, you can correct, and then when you use the bigger one, come correct. Perfect. All right, now that I got my pilot holes drilled, I'm gonna come back with the 1/4 inch. Even though I got my pilot hole, I'm trying to be careful still. Pilot hole should guide you pretty good. Like I said, you'll do all your sanding at the end before you assemble. Alright, so at this point, you have everything done to start assembling. This is when I would do all my sanding, probably staining or painting if you wanted to do that. Just knock all the burrs off, splinters and stuff. Then it's time to assemble. I'm not going to actually assemble this one. This is actually going in a real kit that we'll be offering. So I'm going to take mine apart and we're going to go through the assembly process. Alright, so at this point in the build, you'll only need a Phillips head screwdriver from here on out for the assembly. This is exactly what you'll get in the kit. You will get all the wood pieces, screws to attach the rails to here, and these carriage bolts for the slides. You will also get a couple of these wall anchors right here. They're self-drilling. You could just do it with a screwdriver to put those in the wall to mount your easel to the wall. Now this is the base model non-tilting one, okay? Let's go ahead and start. I would start by laying everything, set these rails aside for now, G and H. This will all be labeled in your kit. This is my personal easel I took apart. You'll be getting brand new, nice wood, not this. This has been used for years and painted on and stuff. But I labeled them just for this demonstration. You got G and H, let's lay those aside. Those are our cross beams. These go with that. Then these screws attach your rails, okay? So I would do A, go in order, A, B, C, and D. You got your holes here already pre-drilled from the factory, aka my shed. So let's go ahead and lay them all out, line them up with the holes. I'll have lines drawn here to make it easier where the rails go. Okay, so we're just gonna lay them out loosely, and let's just attach the first one. I mean, let's ride. So take this one right here. On the A, we're gonna get it started, and we're gonna try to line it up with our screw hole there, pre-drilled from Woog's shed. Make sure we hit the hole. I believe I am. All the way down. Nice and flush to your countersink. Beauty. Let's just go ahead and do this side real quick. Same thing. Nice and tight, but not over tight. Don't over tighten these because you don't want to loosen it up. Okay, that's one already done. Repeat it for B, C, and D, and we'll get back when we get all the rails on. I'm cheating and using my drill just to speed this up, you know. I don't got all day to make a video out here. Okay, keep in mind, I got all the rails on. Keep in mind, when you mount this to the top, it will have some swivel. These will rotate, but that's okay. When you hang it on the wall, hang it straight, and then when you put your bottom one in, it ain't going anywhere. Okay? So now we got the rails on, it's time to assemble our sliders. We got G and H, probably doesn't matter, but just go in order. We got our Wingnuts here. It goes big washer in the back behind the rails, and then the bolt through, and then through our front slide. Come up here real tight. So back side like this. That keeps it, makes it able to clamp, but also slide. This is going through there. Now in the kit, I include an extra washer, bigger washer than this if you want to use it, but for me, this works just fine. So then we throw the wing nut on there. You can see where I've been clamping it down. Boom, that's it. Now we got 3 more to go. Show how it's put together. And the ones you get in the kit are a little bit bigger than the ones I used. This is inch and a quarter, inch and a half big. That'll even give you more grip on the back. And also keep in mind that my boards I originally used on, this is basically my prototype, are bowed a little bit. The ones you're getting are pretty straight from Lowe's. If you go to Lowe's and get them, I noticed they're very straight. All right, I'm gonna put the rest of them in, and then we'll show you how it works. And if you've done the DIY build and the bolt's a little tight through here, you can drill it in with a screwdriver, or just waller it out a little bit, or use a 1 step higher drill bit, and that'll give it a little more slide through here and not have it so tight. See how that's pretty snug? It's okay, it'll work good, but if you want it a little looser, drill it out some more and it'll be Gucci. All right, last wing nut and carriage bolt is on. Now you can see the action. Pretend it's on a wall, and size it to your painting or height you want. Pinch it together, and then clamp them down when it's where you want it to be. All right, so now the easel is complete. The base easel is complete. We'll get to the additions for the tilting one, but let me show you how we're gonna mount it on the wall first, now that it's completed, okay? So, come in here. I wanna pre-drill these. We're gonna use these wall anchors, right? So, need 2 wall anchors, 2 at the top, 1 in the middle at the bottom. So we're gonna get 3 of those out. This is for the base one now. 2 screws, 3 screws. And pre-drill 1/8 of an inch probably will be fine on here. You can see I got pre-drilled here. It's about 3 inches in on each side, straight through, okay? Put it up in the wall where you want it to, and put something through here to mark it. Once you have your marking, you're gonna stab this into the wall. You can start it with a stab of this, end of your screwdriver, and then you should be able to push this into your drywall and screw it in using only the screwdriver, Phillips head screwdriver. So I designed this to use all Phillips head screwdriver. Then once that's in, you screw that through the wood into there, okay? That's how you hang it on the wall. Now that we've done this, the base model is complete. I'm gonna show you what gets added to make it tilting, okay? So we're gonna need to make 2 more cuts. What we're gonna do is cut this in half. This is your 3/4 square, 36 inches. Gonna cut that in half, make it 218. So that's how much the maximum throw is gonna be on your thing. Let's see. And then cut one of these in half, our extra 1x2x6, cut it in half, 36 inches, and that will give us our mounting on the top there, okay? But I already have mine, and I'm gonna show you how it goes. If you're doing the DIY build on your own, you're adding 2 hinges just like this. I already have it done here, and then we're gonna add it like that, okay? If you get the kit from me, these 2 are already gonna be attached. The hinges are gonna be on. You just do the same process as you did already, as putting your rails on in these parts, and then there'll be one more step putting the legs on. So I'm gonna go ahead and reattach these. You can watch me do it. I'm gonna use a screwdriver, but you will not have to do this part if you get my kit. If you do it yourself, you will have to put your own hinges on. But it's easy. Like, ready? All right, let's see. Go ahead and I'm gonna use my drill. Okay. Also, the hinges you get will be these exact ones, silver, not brass, but that's what I built. Okay, this will change how you mount it to the wall a little bit. Instead of mounting it from here, you want to mount it to the top one, like that. And that will allow it to swivel out and tilt. Okay, so that top's done. That's the only difference between the base model and the tilting easel on the top. Now the bottom's a little bit different. Let me show you. So you're going to cut this in half, which I already did here, and drill 2 holes in the end, a little bit more accurately than I did here, but like I said, this is my home one. I built it a long time ago. As dead center as you can. The base model doesn't have these hanger bolts, and let me show you. This is what I showed you earlier in the video. This is the hanger bolt. You drill a hole in there, 1/4 inch, and then you use your wing nut or a regular nut, drill it all the way down, and then you can sort of screw it in. Once it's screwed in, take the nut off, and that's what you're left with. Mine's a little bit crooked, but the kit will be straight as possible. Also, it still works good if you do make it a little bent. Okay, on these, put a little sticky things which will be included in the kit. I will also list these in the definition, the description of where I got them. They're just little rubber sticky pads to protect the wall and keep it from slipping. Okay, we just slide these on, okay, like that, and don't go too far. You can see I almost went too far on mine. Didn't give me much to bite on here. And also, if you want, and it will come in the kit, there'll be extra holes drilled here so you can adjust it a little bit. Instead of having the full throw, you could go a little less tilt, but that'll be your option, and if you're building it, you could choose to do that or not. And then just put these wing nuts on, tighten it down, and you're good to go. That's what sits against the wall. And I'm gonna overlay some videos of me actually using this thing. And yeah, that's it. That's the tilting wall easel. Completely assembled, good to go. 6 foot tall, 3 foot wide on these bars, 36 inches. Plenty of space to hang big paintings, little paintings, strong enough to hold your paintings, and you doing the Bob Ross slap-a-tap. Okay, if you have any questions, put it in the comments, message me, email me, hey@woogdesigns. If you want to buy the kit, save yourself a lot of trouble. If you don't have tools, don't run around town, going to different stores, have everything you need to build it. woogdesigns.com. I'll have the whole wall easel kit, both the base model and the tilting model, and my goal was to make these as cheap as possible. I know as expensive wall easels are, which is why I built this. So as cheap as possible as I can offer it to you to make it easy for you, I'll do that. So woogdesigns.com, Woog's wall easel, base one, tilting, and I hope this helps. Show me your wall easels if you build your DIY. People have been sending them to me on Instagram, pictures of theirs, and they're awesome. You know, they've took them to a whole new level and used really nice wood and all kinds of stuff. I want to see them. I encourage you to do it by yourself if you have the means and the ability. It's a super fun project, really doable project for anybody. But like I said, if you want it to just be easy, screwdriver only assembly, the kit is for you, and I'll see you. Holla at your boy.